The history of the Moon People. So I think the history of the Lunarians goes as follows. The Great Kingdom, led by Joyboy, stretches over multiple nations all flying under the same banner. Possibly the first Jolly Roger. One of these countries is Jaya, the former home of the Lunarians. Within Jaya, some Lunarians didn't want to mingle with what they deemed lesser races and so flew up to the moon and survived there using their high resilience. Others less prideful stayed behind and due to the Great Kingdom joining everyone together and making each nation less isolationist, the Lunarians who stayed behind were able to mingle with other races, at the cost of watering down their Lunarian abilities through the generations. These watered-down Lunarians, now known as winged folk, could no longer use their wings to go to the moon. However, they could still travel to the Sky Islands, such as Skypea and Burka, which were also part of the Great Kingdom where borders were open and everyone could come and go with ease. They mingled with the population there, and soon both those countries were populated nearly entirely by winged folk. Later on, we know there was a period where Joyboy was going around writing poneglyphs to protect his history from an enemy, and in the FMI1 he apologized for having failed. So there was a period where Joyboy was still alive to write poneglyphs, but had suffered a significant enough loss to where he could confidently say he had failed. I think this failure was the sinking of Laugh-Tale, the first major blow. During this period of conflict between Laugh-Tale's sinking and Joyboy's defeat, I think the WG was slowly conquering all the nations once part of the Great Kingdom. We see in the cover story that the Lunarians, which at this point hadn't mingled and so retained their Lunarian features, eventually had to come down, likely due to a lack of resources. So they made the automata in their stead and went down to Earth. By the time they returned to Earth, the Red Line was built, Joyboy was defeated, and the Great Kingdom was no more. The Lunarians moved to what would later be Mariejois, as it was a land of pure rock far above the world. They were able to stay here for some time. The WG, already wondering where they should make their permanent base, killed two birds with one stone and expelled the Lunarians while also taking their home. Ever since, Jaya has been a closed-off country hostile to outsiders. Skypea and Burka also make it hard to enter as well as stay due to their tax. The Lunarians likely went to God Valley as their next home, and at some point after that were enslaved by celestial dragons at their own home. The God Valley incident was Rox trying to free the Lunarians, and after he failed, the Lunarians were genocided. This is what made Garp hate the celestial dragons, which would be made even worse if his wife was Lunarian. I'm sure there were a few escapees over the years, which would explain Dragon's tattoo which looks like King's as well as Luffy's red rock. It would explain why Dragon also hates them, why Garp likely found its sword, and also he was a vice admiral, so probably would have commanded one of the ships doing the Buster Call. If you wanna go really dark with it, maybe he was forced to leave his Lunarian wife on the burning island, as a cruel joke by the CDs that a creature with fire powers died to fire. King tried to stow away on the ship but was caught and sent to Punk Hazard along with Kaido, the last of the Lunarians.